Okay, on to a very important topic. The nutsack of Adolf Hitler.
Micropenises, something I know nothing about.
I just want to say, a very good friend of mine told me recently that she dated a guy who had one nut.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they exist?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
They do. However,
is that normal?
Well, it happened.
I don't know. And he did.
One, I mean.
I'm sure it's not abnormal. But she said it was a wonderful nut, and it looked by far to her much better than a lot of ball sacks of the two nutted variety that she's seen.
Oh, really?
You know, here's the thing: girls know more about this stuff than guys because
You just
we've
got
only
it.
seen one.
we only have your own, right?
Yeah.
Girls get to see a whole lot more.
We see it.
Because
Or
they're
maybe
parents.
not.
Because they're
Plethora
parents.
of nuts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. So anyway, you probably heard about it on Facebook, or heard about it in the news, and the historian has just released a book saying that she believes a lot of the rage Hitler felt and thus imparted on the Jews and homosexuals and disadvantaged and crippled, because it was a whole lot of people that he annihilated, was because he had not only one nut but a mini acorn penis.
And he was short too, and I heard the story that he grew up in a Jewish suburb in Austria, and he's an artist. He's a pretty bad artist. His art is actually available. He's considered actually all right, sort of. But he used to try and sell his art down at the coffee shops when he was younger, and they used to take the mickey out of him.
Right.
So you don't tease, you don't torment anyone, because they might get into power and go screwy and come back for you.
Dictator.
And so there's some sympathy there for him because he was hassled as a young kid.
Oh yeah, but weren't we all?
Well,
Like, seriously.
Yeah, we all
maybe
were.
not to that extent.
But we don't go and
seriously,
kill
we're not
6 of them.
sociopaths.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this whole as men, like the whole one nut tiny penis thing? I mean,
Never heard of it.
You know,
Such a new thing.
it's a thing, you know.
like, do you know guys that have got real psychological issues because of it?
I don't have any psychological issues.
I'm not saying you do.
No, I don't have any.
Do you
I've
know
never had
people
any.
though who have got like the little penis?
Well, you know, I think this
It changes,
transpires.
you know.
You wonder to those guys that micromanage you at work, don't you? You wonder about them. Micromanager.
Macro.
Man, I was working for this.
Bingo. That's a light bulb moment.
I was working for this network once, and this guy got this job, and he went above me, and he seriously turned into the biggest micromanaging asshole in the entire planet. And I reckon it has to be related.
Did you see him at the urinal?
Names.
I didn't see him at the urinal. He probably saw me.
Oh, the urinal. That's,
Have you got a story to tell?
sort of.
It's where all the big knobs hang out.
Otherwise, they use the cubicle.
If you're at the urinal, if you're at the
the
urinal,
cubicle.
and if someone's looking at you, and this happened to me once, when I was travelling across to Western Australia, you know, somewhere in Adelaide, and went to do a pee, right? You get stage fright. Right, you
always get stage fright.
Right, you can't pee. It sort of locks up, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going, oh, stage fright. Look, and there's this guy that looked like the singer from Queen.
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury.
He looked
Yeah,
like
that
Freddie
guy.
Mercury. He looked exactly like him. Only a bit overweight, a little bit older.
Yeah.
And he was looking at me, and I'm going, no, I had to get out of there. I couldn't do a pee.
Oh, did you go to the cubicle?
No, I just
Left?
I just got out of there. Actually, I went. I thought it was a bit weird, and I went and told some cops. Right, and, because we were travelling over as a family, and I said, "Look, there's a guy in there
Looking at my
and
willy."
it was school holidays, and there was kids everywhere,
good.
right?
Oh, yeah.
And so I just told him, I said, "Look, you don't mind it, but you can't be having that
good.
going on in the toilets."
Yeah.
So I said they were investigate. So and we had lunch and everything. We're heading to Perth, right? So we're driving off to Perth, Tassie, little child, and my wife Heather, and we got pulled over by the cops, right? And I'm going, what? And they're going, just wanted to let you know that we went looking for that guy, but unfortunately we couldn't find him. And the other cop goes, what we mean by unfortunate was it? So they had this comedy team going about how we weren't looking for him, but but we were.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And so, but they just said that particular toilet was famous for that. So.
Oh, really?
In this park in Adelaide. So you get that,
it's a bit creepy.
It was a bit creepy, but it turned out quite funny, and the cops were really good about it, and they just you know, and you don't want to make a big deal.
No, you don't.
Some people have problems with their micro.
I know. I think we've done enough of the micro penis / toilet talk. Are you happy to move on?
Back to parenting?
But before parenting, you were mentioning the Freddie Mercury lookalike.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know, I had a coffee this morning in my favourite organics shop, and I was chatting to this gorgeous Irish man, and we were talking about Facebook, and he was saying he's now 16. He was saying that he won't let any photos of his grandchildren on
we're
Facebook.
getting some Facebook hits there.
Oh, good.
Cool.
Put up.
Good.
On the monitor there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And he was saying how our generation really is the first lot of parents that have had to contend with kids' photos on Facebook, and we were just saying how we choose to be really mindful of what we put up on Facebook with our kids because it's out there. Facebook owns it.
That's right. It's publishing.
That's
you're publishing,
exactly right.
and you're publishing your stuff, and it's like I say this all the time. You're publishing, so it's there forever. And once it's on the internet, it's not going to go
back. It ain't going to come back. And what happens if your kid grow up and says, "Why did you put a photo of me in a bikini?" I can't believe you did that. And they're all kind of mentally disturbed because their parents put photos up of them that they feel really ashamed
I mean,
about.
that's a fair point too. But I mean, at the same time, I don't think it's that big a deal because the companies like Facebook and stuff like that, they need you to keep coming back. Right? So they're going to do things to keep, like the privacy things that they put in, and they're extensive and they're real, the privacy things in there. And I think if you keep playing along those things, then the thing that's keeping them from being completely mercenary about it is the fact that they need you.
Of course they need us, but they're still manipulators. Like, I don't trust that they're not going to use material to their own devices, as we already know they are, i.e. selling our private and personal information.
Yeah, well, they're quite open about that we're the product.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right.
So, but I think that's good that they're open about it. They're not trying to hide it.
Well, they have to be.
Yeah.
They absolutely have to be.
They have to if they want to keep us on the platform, because otherwise somebody else will go, because it's not hard to make these platforms.
No, exactly. But the end of my story, at the end I said, look, I've got to go. Anyway, it was a pleasure to meet you. And he said, it was a pleasure to meet you too, Penny. He said, my name's Luca. And he shook my hand. I said, oh, that's a beautiful name. I said, like Luca Bloom, you know, the gorgeous Irish musician. He said, yes, I am Luca Bloom. I'm here touring. Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah. I was like, oh, and he said, and I'm glad you said the beautiful Luca Bloom. And I said, oh, me too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. There you go. You never know who
That's
you meet.
a good thing to talk about.
Right?
Close calls.
Yeah, you never know who you talk. And Facebook, a conversation about Facebook brought us together, and it was really cute. There you go.
Luca Bloom.
Luca Bloom.
There you have it.